Okay, we're live.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, we'll call the meeting of the Irvington Architecture Review Board to order. As is usually the case, we will start with continuations, go on to revisions, and then take up the new matters in ascending order of application number. So we'll go from the bottom up. To start off the meeting, we will ask for ARB 20-48, 7 to 9 South Cottonette. It's continuations of the addition. John Malone. How are you, John?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So we started a review of this last time. I don't know where you guys want to start on it. Do you want to go? Do you want me to go through and just do a general review of this?
And then just point out what's different from the last one.
Okay.
So we're on 4 Camden Court?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we had the wrong thing.
Yep, 7 to 9 South Cottonette.
Okay.
What have I got here?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's the first and then the last.
Oh my goodness. Hold on one sec, guys. Let me just open
Mhm.
the right drawings, and then we will go from there.
11.
Okay, that's the one we're supposed to be looking at.
Come on.
Okay. So I don't think there's any changes really from what you guys had seen before. I was presenting some materials, and so the resubmission included cut sheets for all the materials that are being proposed. Basically when we reviewed the demo permit, we're adding an addition. We're basically removing the non-historic additions, which are to the south of the building, to the south and the east, and pulling off the aluminum siding and replacing windows and siding. And the
John, I know you had to go for a ZBA approval for something.
we did, and we received that last night. So that was the project is over allowable FAR, but it's a reduction from what is there currently. So, in terms of discussing the exterior, the finishes that we're proposing and the design that we're proposing is trying to emulate in the new edition kind of a late Victorian edition that would relate to this building. And again, I think I mentioned last time, I think the building is listed as being built in 1950. Even in the historic district's contributing buildings blurb on it, I think it wasn't really accurate in terms of how old it may be. So everything to the left of this chimney here, at least on this side of the building, we think maybe pre-Civil War even, and it was there has been there a long time. So what we're hoping to do there is bring, the shape of the building is remaining. There's a new porch going on here. The porch that's there right now is a sort of a retrofit. We're not sure that the building actually had a porch. That a building that early sometimes had just an opening, like steps up to the opening. The porch that's shown here is simpler than what would be the typical typical 1910 porch that we see around the village, where there's like a little bit more ornamentation. There's turned columns and things like this. Is actually intended to look simpler. The columns are, rectangular with very simple detail, but still in a kind of a late Victorian mode in terms of its classicism. We're replacing the door that's there. There was an existing door there that's made up of a combination of like 1990s stuff and some other, historic stuff that I think was salvaged from another project.
That's the door on the porch?
Yeah, that's the door on the porch.
All right.
The siding that we're proposing right now is we're going to strip the aluminum off and see what we have. If there's a chance of reusing the existing siding, we're going to look at that as an option. The problem is the aluminum went in, with nails. So if the existing siding is completely perforated, we don't, there's not a high likelihood that we'll be able to use it. If there's a combination of rot and perforation, we may not be able to use it. So what is being shown is a cement siding, cement fiber siding that's replacing it. It's not a cement fiber siding with fake wood texture, right? It's just a flat cement-based siding that'll just take paint and will read like the historic siding that was there. The roofs, the low slope roofs that are located in a few places are going to be a metal roof that's meant to look like lead-coated copper, lead-coated copper standing seam. Lead-coated copper you can't do anymore because it's lead, right? And so this is a gray, and I can show you images of what that would be. The paint scheme, we were going to, again, try to focus more on like a late Victorian paint scheme where the windows are dark, the siding is dark, and it's not like a Georgian or a, federal look with white trim. We think that's probably what was there. There is some evidence from like little paint samples that we did in some of the existing trim that we could find that it was a dark color, either a dark green or a dark gray. There's new brick shown on the foundation of the addition. We're going to try to match. The chimney brick to some extent with a new brick product. The rest of the foundation is actually a rubble foundation, which is needs to be repointed, but it's very nice and historic. And then for roofing right now, we're showing architectural asphalt shingle, but in a color that's intended to look, historic. It's supposed to look gray. So in terms of just the exterior house colors in general, this is, an internet image that sort of shows you where we're headed in terms of the colors. I know that's not necessarily something you guys have control over, but just to give you a sense of why, the windows that we specified have an exterior color of a bronze. The brick at the base is going to be this, which is it's actually potentially a thin brick it's not a full depth brick, but it's actually a handmade brick, and it has that read of an older brick. The roofing that we're using is a prefabricated roofing. It's not a roofing that is where the joint is made in the field, but Attis makes this Dutch seam that is a smooth Dutch seam without any striations or without any embossing. So we're using the smooth seam for that. I think the color might be on this one, and this is the color we're going to use, which is a slate gray. Of the standard colors that Attis makes, this is the one that most closely emulates a lead coat copper. The roofing shingles,
I think I know everything about roofing shingles there is to know after reading all of the roofing shingle guides that you have.
I know. Claudia sent this one in, and I was like, Claudia, I'm not sure they need to know the entire Attis line, but the entire GAF line. But the one that's specified is I don't know. I can find it for you in a second, but it's an architectural shingle in gray, which means it has a little bit of height to it, which is meant to not read as slate, but the height is supposed to read like a cedar, like it has some regularity in it. Hardy poured, here's the one that we will not do, with this fake, it's, how it's pressed into it.
Right.
If you're driving past it at 30 miles an hour, you can see it. It's great that you think it's wood, but when you're walking next to it, it doesn't look like wood. It looks like, you know, it looks like something. Okay. Please move away from that area.
What are you using?
So we're using hardy plank, but it's just, they have two options. They have a smooth, oh, do they have
Okay.
a show? Do they show? Cedar mill finish versus smooth, right? So we'll be doing the smooth
All right.
finish. Yeah, cedar mill. That's a nice way to put it. Hold on a sec, there's something keeps popping up. Oh, so I think the only other thing that I had shown here is there's in the garage, there is a wood door shown. So we're actually, you know, it is a Clopay, which is not like a high-end designer door, but it is going to be a wood door that'll be painted, so it'll have you know, the look of an actual wood door as opposed to something that looks.
You have a door picked out of those?
Yeah, it's let me. It's probably shown here. Let's see which one it is. It's basically this one here. If you can see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, meant to look like two carriage house doors. It's a short door, so it's broken in 3 places. In terms of the windows, we're doing a. Oops, it's not the right one. Oh my God! Did I just click out of it? This is really annoying. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. So in terms of the windows, we are showing well, here's the door schedule. The strategy is to again look at a division that's more appropriate for an earlier house. So in general, they're this 2/2 look. There's a few locations that are bedroom windows that require certain egress openings. So what you're seeing here is typically it's going to be a double hung with, you know, sort of historic characteristic. And then in the places where we need egress windows for bedrooms, they will be a casement operation, but divided in such a way that they'll match. And then these windows at the top here that are shown as 6s are related to porch, which I should show you. So on this side of the house, in the kitchen area, what we're doing here is we're building something that again will read like a later edition, like sort of a 1920s solarium kind of edition. And it's more classical. It has a different window type, which is, you know, sort of a solarium double French casement approach to that. So in general, like, you know, the fiction of what we're doing here is that there's an original house, you know, from maybe 1850s, 1860s. There was an addition in 1890, sort of a late Victorian one, and then potentially a later addition. You know, that's kind of where we're at. This facade is we think is a nice little arrangement, but it's really a resultant facade. It's the one that faces south and doesn't have a lot of visual pressure on it because of where it is up on the hill and the building that's next to it.
What's the decking and the fence or railings on the?
So this is all paint. You know, it'll be a combination of mahogany and cedar, and then on the deck will be a mahogany. That won't be, I don't think that'll be painted. That's the front porch is going to be a porch that has tongue and groove wood on it that has no joints. I mean, it doesn't have open joints up here because of how we're draining it. It's going to be more of a modern condition with open joints and mahogany. I think visually though, you won't see it from the house. I think there's only one other piece that I think was shown in the front here. Which is a pergola, which is a very typical classical pergola with a trellis on the back. side of it. So the back side of it, the trellis faces the Main Street side.
So that's what you're going to see from Main Street?
So it's from Main Street, you will see this, but in terms of how it's planted, it's set back. Let's see if we have, you can see how this is planted. So what we're trying to do is make sort of a garage courtyard condition here. This is the trellis at the back of the pergola. It's planted with what are they called? Skip laurels. They're sort of skip laurels, so it's very, very green, and it's a full year green, 4-season green. And then there is some wisteria that's coming from the north, growing over the south of it. And, you know, there's other hedges and other buffers there.
Mm-hmm.
There is a fence, like a small fence that's shown here, which is like a simple white picket, I believe. Let's see. We have a cut through that. So yeah, this is our typical fence condition here. You know, there was some evidence of a fence like this on the site. We have some pictures of it. I don't think the one that was in the pictures, I'm not sure, is very old, but you never know if it was a replacement of a replacement of a replacement, and it was sort of a history, had a history of sort of a white picket fence that may have.
And that's all wood?
That'll be all wood, yeah.
Okay. So what exactly, oh, this was just a continuation. All right. I thought there were changes. Okay, I'll open it up to the board. Any questions?
None for me. Firstly, I think it's a beautiful renovation and addition. I think it's in perfect keeping with the style and the year the house was built. And I like the way that you're contrasting it. The only thing I wanted to double check, John, is can you just go back to the picket fence? Is it 4 feet tall? And where is it again? I just want to look at the location.
Yeah, let me see where it is.
Actually, in the property on.
Yeah, it's backing up. So there's an existing privet hedge. We're not doing anything there. It's not actually on our property, it's on the village property, but we're not upgrading that. We're not going to add a fence there. So this is really a fence, you know, where there's existing stairs.
Yep.
So the fence goes sort of along that line. Where is it?
And how long?
It's
And
going
how long a
along
run
that
is,
line.
I see it. Yep. And how long a run is that?
That's probably about 30 feet.
Okay.
And it's meeting the pergola, so that you have the low fence there, then the pergola is acting as the barrier, and then there's a little bit of fence here. And then the only other fence, there's a little bit of 4-foot fence here that's again planted. You know, that's high up on the retaining wall, just to make sure nobody takes a tumble on that one.
Okay. And it's all the same, 4 feet, and only in those locations.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we did at some point have a fence over along here, and it wasn't clear what we're doing. You know, we're already planting that edge. You know, I don't think there's, so we pulled that out just to simplify.
Okay. No, I think it looks great.
So John, you're not actually moving the garage over towards Main Street?
We are.
You
So
are.
the existing garage is down here.
Right in the corner.
Oh, so you are moving it forward?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pulled up. Yes, it's pulled
All right.
up towards Main Street. It's positioned in such a way that it doesn't have an impact as you're walking down Main Street, doesn't have a visual impact coming down. And then also we kept it low, and you saw it's like that doesn't have a
Mhm.
gable roof or anything. It's to try to limit any visual impact on the building to the.
Well, it gives them a yard too, so, yeah, I mean, you know, they have all that property, it doesn't need to be paved. So
Yeah, I think
it's
we're
an
reducing the
exciting
pavement.
project. It'll be a nice addition to Main Street.
Yeah, we hope that, you know, right now, in some of the other boards, they were worried that we were making this condition worse as you were looking in here, and I was like, you know, I think we're making it better. We're reducing the pavement and we're planting it, you know, so I hope it's a better thing to look at.
Okay. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
Opposed? Abstentions? Very good. Okay.
Good luck, John.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you later, John.
Thanks.
Okay. Once again, I don't think we're going to hear 2 Ardsley Avenue East. Sarah, could you see if there's a show of hands or somebody wanting to discuss it? That's ARB 20-42. Okay.
Nobody's raising their hand.
Okay. We will then move on to ARB 20-39, 10 North Ecker, windows. This is coming back to us from the Board of Trustees. We'll wait for Mr. Bernstein to get on. Okay, you're there. All righty. As I said, Bernstein's went to the Board of Trustees and grieved our disapproval and won. And we now have them as is part of the method in which the appeal is heard. They are to come back to us because in the past we have had other issues with other parts of the project that hadn't been discussed, for lack of a better term. At this point, that's not the case. And at this point, unless somebody on the board has anything to say, we will move along with the process of approving per the Board of Trustees, the application. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Okay. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're good to go. Sorry to make you come back, Ken, but there have been situations in the past where we weren't really finished with the review of the application.
It's fine. That's what the process is. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Take care. Okay. We will move on to revisions. ARB 20-54, 18 Meadowbrook Road addition.
Good evening.
Hi, Doug.
So Douglas McClure for Jacob Staberski and Catherine's son. This is a project that you approved. Not sure when your original approval was with a different architect. I've been up here previously to change some windows on the back and some roof line. For this application, we are requesting a change to the front. This is the what was previously approved. The part that I'm specifically addressing is this entry. It wasn't too dissimilar from the entry that was originally on the house, but it was also sort of inconsequential and didn't really do much for the house itself. So what I wanted to propose was that we take the entry and just bring it all the way across the house, which seemed more appropriate for the style of the building itself. We use these double columns to sort of help with centering the windows and making the off-center door not seem so out of place. The columns would be clad in wood or AZEK painted white to match the trims. And the porch, the covered area flooring itself is just bluestone set in stone dust. So it's really just a covered front area. They the client really wanted to be able to sit out in their front lawn. Their kid plays in the front yard a lot, and this affords them a little cover from sun and the elements, just a little bit though. It doesn't come out all that far. And that's the extent that we are looking for.
The new roof to match the existing roof?
New roof to match the existing roof. Yes, I had originally hoped to do a nice metal roof, but it wasn't in the budget, so we're matching the existing.
Okay. I assume the grade is right at that level? I don't
The
see it.
grade is, yeah, we're not changing the grade at all right now. There's a stoop there was a stoop that comes out and steps down one step. And there's actually a brick pathway that goes sort of along the house from here over to the driveway. So we're essentially pulling up that brick and just replacing it with bluestone. So that's all at grade.
Okay. Do you have a plan view? Just
Sure. Hold on a sec. So this is the area we're talking about.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. I see what I need to see. Does anybody have any questions, concerns?
That looks great. Is there lighting, Doug, at the front? I didn't see that.
There's existing lighting to the left of the door, and hold on, let me call up the lighting plan here. Find it. Oh, look at that. And then we have two surface mounted fixtures just mounted up under the roof.
Great.
Can't
So
see
they'll
it.
they won't, no, you won't be able to see them. They'll be low profile fixtures.
You said the fixture that's next to the door is existing?
Yes.
Means we must have looked at it before. Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. I need a motion to approve. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed? Abstentions? We're good to go, Doug.
Good luck,
Thank
Doug.
you very much.
Okay. All right, so then we have, as I said, I don't expect anybody to be here for 15 Dearman Close, but ARB 20-43 was next on. I have no new materials, so we will move along to new matters. All right, we will start off with ARB 20-49, 21 North Broadway fence. 21 North Broadway happens to be Irvington Presbyterian Church.
Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Okay. So do you have materials to put up, or would you like Sarah to put them up?
It would be great if Sarah would put them up for me. I'm afraid if I share my screen, I might do something crazy.
Well, if Sarah's going to put them up, then you won't be able to, when you share your screen,
That's okay. She can do it for me. That would be easier.
okay. Sarah, could you put that up,
Thank
please?
Sure. Just let me know which page you would like to see first.
Well, maybe I should tell you the story first. We have a garbage area at the church, which is a little bit hard to see from the street, but I did provide pictures so that you could see it from the street and from every location kind of around the church and the driveway, from the front and the back and from the trail. And we had a member of the church who bought some fencing materials from New Mat Fence and actually started to install it before a couple of the people at the church told him that that was not the way we needed to do things.
Mhm.
And so then we put in for the permit to install, and we sent the plan and the best pictures we could, and the catalog that he provided us.
Right. All right, so in the pictures, I saw that there were wooden posts, but that doesn't really go with chain link fence.
No, they're metal posts.
Oh,
So
they're
if they
metal?
looked wooden, they're very thin metal posts. They're about, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches thick, but they go with that that chain link, and it is a dark green color. And I think the hope is to plant it.
Okay.
So John, who just left, John Malone, helped us put this together for you, because he does some work for us already. So
I'm looking at what looks like one very large dumpster, but in fact, you have 2 smaller ones, correct?
that is actually the foundation, I think, just so that you can see the shape of the poured cement foundation. I'm pretty sure that's what that square is.
Okay.
And then there are 2 small dumpsters that roll onto that. And then there are some, give or take, 2 to 4 cans that kind of move in and out with some recycling stuff.
Okay. Could you move to the photo, Sarah, please? Yeah.
That's a photo from the back parking lot. It's really not visible from there. And next to it, you can see that it's also invisible from the aqueduct. So I kind of walked all around the back, and then if you keep going, you'll see that as you move kind of toward the back of the house from the aqueduct, you can start to see it. It's kind of on your left, and that's a little piece of the dumpster there. And then as you walk around to the front of the manse where the minister lives, it's visible from the backyard a little bit. And then if you keep going, that's the front of the manse. So you can't see it if you're looking straight on. That's the left side yard of the manse. So it's obviously not there. And then if you keep going, it's really the right side where it becomes visible. So right to the right of that manse, where there is a garage that's actually full of material, that's it on the right. And there's that beige colored extra kind of barn area that was added for a while. And then you can see the dumpsters that are just sitting out there along with the can. And the parishioner at our church, as we said, they started the fence. So the posts are there, but that's when we stopped it. And there you can see kind of that they're the metal green posts. And the idea is that they would wrap around and just provide a barrier so that people wouldn't have to see the dumpsters or the trash cans.
So it's a chain link, but you're going to put the green slats in it?
We can put we have the green slats to put in it. And I think, some other people are talking about maybe what could we plant that smelled pretty and looked pretty.
Always a good idea.
Yeah, we have a number of pretty active gardeners at the church. So I think once the structure's up, they would come up with some nice things that, would make it look even.
Yeah, I think you're okay in the back. I think it's just the side. And you obviously can't put anything in the front because of the gates, but doors. But
And if you keep going down through the pictures, you can see, I think I included one from the street because this is very close up right in the driveway. But if you just keep scrolling through the pictures, you'll see what it looks like. See, this is in front of the church. So it's actually very hard to see from the street. That's from Broadway. So you have to kind of look through all those trees to see it. But still, you can see it. It's right there in between that little clearing of trees, kind of in the middle there.
But I think with the green slatting, it'll blend into the landscape.
Yeah, we hope so. And we'll do our best to make it look pretty. And I think the thinking is it'll look certainly a lot better than it does now. That's the hope.
Yeah, which is nothing hiding it. So,
yeah.
All right. Any questions from the board?
No questions. You've answered my question. I was originally curious why you decided to go with a chain link as opposed to something that was made of wood or something, frankly, a little bit more attractive. We tend to shy away from putting the green slats in a chain link fence, especially on a property that's historic and frankly as beautiful as yours. But it sounds like this was a donated item, which I can understand from the church's perspective is, it was accepted without, question. So I would just say that in general, I wouldn't necessarily have been in favor of a chain link fence on such a property as yours, but I understand in this instance why it's appropriate for this board to approve it. I also am not usually in favor of the slats that go into the chain link. I understand you're trying to hide the garbage can, so that's why it would be there. So I would just strongly recommend that if the board is inclined to approve it, that we just send the message back to your church that if we could really ask those gardeners to do something to screen this and to make it clear it's not usually something that we would approve, but I'm just thinking about the winter or the fall when you don't have as many leaves present, what you could do to make it more attractive.
I would agree with that as well.
We could absolutely do that. And I think you're 100% right. It was donated. I think a lot of people wanted it to be different, but then it was donated. So now we're trying to figure out how we can use it and then make it look as pretty as possible. So I would definitely bring back the message to the gardeners that the hope is that they do a lot or they figure out something that, shields it even more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
There's somebody that's raising their hand to speak.
Okay. A little unusual for this type of application, but we'll hear them.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, it's Leola Specht. I've been attending Irvington Presbyterian Church for 20-something years now. Hi, Chris and all the ARB people. Thank you, Chris, for your work on this. I just had a question about the green slat situation, and I also appreciate the fact that we would normally like a wood structure, but we've got this donated materials and church limited funds. It makes sense to try to make use of it. Have the green slats already been purchased, Chris, or have they been donated along with the chain link?
I believe so, Leola.
Okay, because I find them really tacky, even worse than not having them at all, although I realize you're trying to blend in with the green. So, I would almost favor the ARB approving it if we hadn't bought the green slats yet, and then just kind of working on vegetation and screening. And I'd be one of those who'd be happy to help with the gardening.
Great.
Yeah, at this point, unfortunately, you can't put the vegetation in front because those doors swing open. So you'd still have some exposure of the really ugly dumpsters. So that's why probably one of the only reasons we were willing to accept the slats, quite frankly.
Anyone can do it, Leola can. So
That's so right.
Yeah, I really like the idea of containing it. It's really been kind of a messy trash area for quite some time, and appreciate the church's efforts on it.
Okay. Anybody else?
And the only question I had is, I assume, having actually never installed a chain link fence with green slats, that the green slats could come out if your parishioners actually found it objectionable. Is that correct?
They are removable.
Yeah. So at some point, I suppose it would be helpful if you could tell your membership or whoever's going to be working on this that if you put them in and get enough, negative feedback, I would suggest you again go back to your board or to your parishioners and just again try to emphasize that with an historic property such as this, if we can get some planting in lieu of the green slats, it would be favorable.
100%. We will figure it out. I think people are very involved in trying to
I'm sure.
Okay. All right. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're good
Good luck.
to go.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. We will move on to the next new application. ARB 20-50, 240 Harriman Road, windows. Sarah, you can take that down.
Sorry.
That's all right. Axel, if you're there, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Mute myself. There.
There we go.
And can you, let's see, start video. Sorry, not very good.
There we go.
Getting it together. And should I share my screen?
If you have your application up, yes.
Yeah, let me see. Application window, preview, share. Sorry, I have to grant access.
Sarah, could you allow him to share a screen?
He should be able to share as a panelist.
All right.
I'm so sorry. I have to go to Google Chrome, privacy. There, okay. I don't. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. Does it? Let's try again. Share screen. Share. There. Do you see that?
Yep, we do now.
All right. Sorry for the delay. So we wanted to make a couple adjustments to some of the windows on our house, and as well as adding some skylights. So I guess we can start with, here we can start with the skylights. I think this is, we're putting them on this side of the house over our bathroom, where our bathroom is.
Okay.
And I don't know if I can draw. I saw the people drawing. I don't know how to do that. So here's, if you can see my cursor, here's one, and then I have the other one over here.
Yep.
And then we can barely, you can see them a little bit right here and here. They're just fixed. They don't open or anything like that. We just want them to bring in a little bit more light into our bathrooms. And then the other thing we wanted to do is adjust these set of windows right here. So this is like our kitchen sort of eating area. So these three windows, all we wanted to do was they're actually lower right now. And we have inside here, we have a little bench, and we kind of want to make that a little eating nook, but we didn't want to have anybody just resting up against the windows. We wanted to make a nice little bench. So the idea is to raise up these windows just to be level across here in this section. Mm-hmm. And then over on these windows, we just wanted to create a little bit more light into the kitchen. So what we thought of doing is right here, where my cursor is here, and then my cursor over here are two existing windows. And then we just wanted to open up this space here to make, I mean, it's going to be 3 panels, but it feels like it's sort of one wide, long window. But we're going to put the cross members in so the style of the windows doesn't change. So it's, and it'll blend in with the rest of the windows of the house. And those are our plans.
Okay. Do you have a window schedule showing us what those windows are? What style, make?
Yeah, they're Marvin windows.
They are on there, Rick, I think.
Oh, maybe if you, I'm sorry, do you see?
Maybe it's, is that the,
I did see Marvin windows. I can't
no, there it
see
is.
here, but
There it is.
Should I-
Can you just zoom into that a little bit?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This window schedule, this is what you were looking for.
Yeah.
There we go.
You can zoom out a little bit. I think the brand name was on the right. Marvin.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, E2 Argon. Okay. Wood frame casement windows. That's all the 3 different types.
Yeah, those are yeah, I think so. I just don't, I know them more just the way they look. I don't, don't know exactly the technical, but they're all wood. You know, the crosses aren't like inside, they're not like inside single, you know, inside the pane of glass. They're actually create the real like panes. Yeah,
Okay. Could you zoom back out?
absolutely. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm actually glad you shortened those windows because now they match everything going all the way across.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Anybody on the board have any questions?
No, you're doing a nice job already. I passed by. We used to live next door to this house.
Oh, you
So-
did? Oh,
I
wow.
know you
Okay.
had your hands full. We were up on the hill right above you.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Nancy is there now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've met her yet. Have I met her? Oh, are you talking about right behind the house, the 242 Harriman Road, or behind?
242. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're 240. Yeah.
Yeah, we've hung out already. She's nice.
Good, good.
Now the color of the frames are matching the other colors on the rest of the windows.
Absolutely. They all match.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you're good to go.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Do I need to stay on, or should I leave?
No, you can get off in a day or two. You can call the building department and ask them if you can pick up your building permit.
All right. I really appreciate it. Have a great night.
You got it. You too.
Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. We now go to ARB 20-51, 33 Maple Street, addition. Mr. McClure is back.
Hello again. So Douglas McClure again, this time the architect for the Weymouths at 33 Maple Street. Let me get this up. So this is a lovely old house on Maple Street, stucco, blue trim, small, like all the properties there. Has an existing stair up to the attic space, and what they would like to do is take that stair and create a whole new master bedroom suite up in the attic. To do that, we'd like to create a dormer on the front to give some headroom, which is a nice gabled dormer facing the street. And then on the back here, we'd like to do a shed dormer to give headroom for a closet and a master bath. We can see what that looks like. Oops. Here, so right here we have the front elevation. We've put in sort of 3 windows to give them a nice view, hopefully catch some river views there. The larger center window is there as an egress. We're making it a picture window flanked by casement windows with divided lights. The windows are Anderson 400 series. The rest of the windows in the house are all replacement windows, and they have the muntins between the glass, which I'm not a fan of. So these are going to have simulated divided lights, and then a little transom window above just to give it some, just to fill that space. The trim will be blue. The existing trims around the windows here, all these casings are blue now, and so we will do blue to match, stucco to match, and the fascia boards will also be blue to match the existing. In the back, which is the back, we have this large dormer, large shed roof dormer with the 3 windows into the master bath, and that's pretty self-explanatory. The roof will be asphalt shingles to match the shingles that are currently there, which are sort of a dark gray black.
Okay. I don't see any issues. I don't, I'm sure. Ken may have something to say if he was here, but he's not. Anybody have any questions?
Mm-mm.
No.
Deb?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. I need a motion to approve. So, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're good to go.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
You too.
Okay. Two more to go. ARB 20-52, 14 South Dutchess Street, fence. Anybody? Sarah, anybody? Oh, okay, good. How we doing? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Hello.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
all right.
You think we'd be used to this by now?
All right.
Hi.
Do you have it up on your computer? Would you like us to put it up?
Yeah, if Sarah can put it up, that'd be great.
Sarah, please.
So we are proposing to remove a chain link fence that encloses essentially 3 sides of our house. We had inherited this fence and we are hoping to remove it. And just along this corridor, which is basically separating 12 and 14 South Dutcher.
Do you have the ability to turn that clockwise a little bit once?
Let me see if I can do that.
There's something on there I want to show you that I don't know whether or not you're aware of. Okay. At this point, the fence that we're looking at that's going east-west, you're going to move that fence back to the house?
That's running east.
Well, that's running from left to right on the picture.
North to south, or south to north, yes.
We're going to remove the front portion of the fence that's moving
Right.
North to south.
Right.
And only replacing the fence that's running east-west. Along this driveway, basically.
So the fence parallel to Dutcher would be removed. The
Didn't I
fence.
see that fence being added back in towards the back of towards the side of the building?
So the only gate that we're adding and we would like, that we're seeking approval for, is to close off the fence between the driveway. So where the recycling bin is, essentially to the side of the house.
Okay.
So basically what we're asking is to remove the fence at the front of the house, and then there's like a slight chain link fence at the very kind of to the right side of the house.
All right. Could you go to the part where we're showing the actual fence on a drawing?
So we're proposing to do a 6 foot tall cedar stockade fence. Yeah, so right there. Sorry, you just passed it.
Oh,
Page, yep.
this one?
So, yep, it would be the C346 cedar stockade. It would be 6 feet tall. I will say we were basically proposing to match what was approved for Pat and John Ryan, who are our neighbors on the other side.
Okay.
And their fence just got approved with the same.
All right.
They're replacing, they have that fence now and they're replacing it because it's in disrepair, and we're proposing, yes, to mimic that on the other side.
Okay,
And we're hoping to close off just on the side of the house because we have young children who use the back and, as you know.
all right. Could you
Dutchers.
go to the picture that shows the actual fence? Not the actual fence, but the fence, where the fence is going to go?
The survey.
I think it was colored in green. There you are.
Yes.
See, I'm just looking at that. You're talking about the from the fence, the stockade fence. You're going to put another stockade fence from that fence to the building?
It would be a 3x6 single gate. It would just be a gate.
Okay. All right. That's what I was understanding. My question is, and this is just an observation. If you go back to the photo,
Which photo?
the photo showing the actual front of the house fence.
The house photo.
Yeah, right there. When you remove that chain link fence, if you look at your neighbor to your left's fence, he's going to be able to walk through your property and go into his driveway. I'm just saying, because his fence doesn't go back. He was
Right.
using your fence as a break. I'm just saying it's really not. It's maybe you just should mention to him that's going to happen. Maybe he wants to do something to protect his
So-
property as well.
Yeah, I did mention it to them, and originally I had asked. So we got our quote from Newmat, and so
Mhm.
originally I had asked Newmat to what I could do to separate that, and he did propose one idea, which is like with a swept section. The thing that my neighbor raised is that as you can tell from this picture, a lot of people, go into Dutcher to do the turnaround, and this is one of the few driveways, and so it's been hit quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So she did warn us that we might get the fence might get immediately damaged by people just hitting that.
But your fence is going to be much further back.
Well, but because the proposal would be to, essentially the fence would
Oh, I
just
see what you're saying. If in
Yeah.
fact you did bring it to
close
that
off
point.
the property,
Well,
exactly.
and as far as I'm concerned, it's really not your problem. I just think it's going to be, once your work is done, your neighbor's going to come out and say, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, I did tell them.
Listen,
and I-
you've done way more than you had to,
yeah. Okay.
as far as I'm concerned. I just, my eye was trained to see that once that gate's closed, he's going to have and maybe it's better for the kids. I don't know, to run their bike in the driveway. But anyway,
Yeah.
be that as it may.
Can I just ask-
Anybody have any?
Yeah, I want to ask about the gate. So to me, you said it was it's a 6-foot high stockade fence
Mhm.
running east to west. And then the gate, you said the whole thing would be a gate, but is it a 3-foot high fence or a 3-foot high gate or a 6-foot high gate? Because you've got more than 3 feet there.
I think it's
Or is it just on the walkway?
um,
The gate just covering the walkway?
no, yeah, I'm sorry. Right before the call, my husband was like, "What is happening with the gate?"
No, it wasn't clear on your plans. I couldn't find anything. I did walk over there, but
Yeah, I don't know if the quote provides a better.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I don't know, Sarah, if you can move it to the.
There's no quote.
Okay.
There's a blank page that had something on it earlier today, and when I tried to go back and look at it, Sarah, go up slow, please.
I can show it on my screen then. I have it up.
Your screen?
Just there is a blank white page coming up.
Oh.
That one.
Oh,
That might be it.
oh, okay.
I thought I saw something, but if you can bring it up on your screen, I'd appreciate it, because we have to make note on our drawings or on the application where the fence is and how big it is.
You can see my screen, right?
There you go. Yeah.
So this is what I was provided with NewMet, and NewMet did tell me that this is what, is up to code or would be
Well, it
allowable.
looks like it's 3 feet high. It says 3 feet by 6 foot. So I would think it's 6 across, right?
No, 3 across
Oh,
and
it's
6
10
high.
foot. It's 10 feet across. Now I see it. Yeah.
And the 3-foot door is 6 foot high.
Okay.
That's the way it looks to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, Rick. Is there a curb cut? I'm just curious. At the end, I mean, your property doesn't have a driveway now, but is there a curb cut there? In other words, will you have a driveway in front of that gate, in front of that piece of fence? No?
No,
Okay.
because our neighbor's driveway is further.
Yeah. Well, so I can't imagine cars are really going to hit your gate then. Because
Well,
No, sorry.
If she brought she brought that piece forward.
Yeah.
The current gate is damaged from cars hitting it, which is part of why they said you probably don't want to put this fence all the way up
okay.
to Dutcher, because then someone will hit it.
Right.
And he may just wind up taking his down as well because it's now a half a fence.
Yep.
Okay, so that section that your cursor is on now is not going to be there?
Correct. It will not be there because this is the sweep or the swept fence that, we are not proposing. Essentially, we're proposing this L, just this L shape.
Right.
With 3 by 6 door.
Yeah. I mean, Rick, I just want to interject. I mean, so this is the part that is the most confusing from the application. And because we don't have a drawing, I too am wrestling with what exactly is being proposed, because this suggested it was a 75-foot run, but now we're being told it's an L and it doesn't run that entire length. So we don't have a drawing.
I think the survey, I apologize if we're wrong, but I think the survey has the exact locations.
I think you highlighted, though, the entire run in the survey. Can we go back to that?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I.
No, they didn't.
I see. Okay. So you did stop it. So, okay. And so the part then that I'm confused about, Rick, is what you raised earlier. So if this new 6-foot
There is not.
fence is put in, you're saying that the neighbor's fence will still run to Dutcher from that
No,
point?
what I'm saying is if they didn't put that in, which they're not,
Yes.
that the neighbor's fence is not, the neighbor's driveway is now accessible from where that cursor is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's no fence there. And frankly, if he's getting that fence banged or hit by cars, he's probably just going to take it down. I mean, that really doesn't affect our decision now, but as far as I'm concerned, my minutes will show, the L-shaped fence with a 3 by 6 door, stockade fence with a C346 style, which is really basically all we need, I think.
Okay. Well, the other thing I'd like to question is for the gate itself. So do we have a picture of the gate, or is the gate, is that anywhere in this application? What the gate itself is going to look like?
I mean, they show gates in the,
I know those. Yeah. So which is your gate?
Yeah, frankly, that wasn't, I think number 20 was what we had talked about, but
if you have
if you guys care, we do not care.
Well, the only thing I'd like to raise is why 6 feet. So you're saying the gate itself is going to be 6 feet tall?
I think the gate is 3 feet tall and 6 feet wide. Right.
well,
Is that so you can get equipment in the backyard or something?
Frankly, that's what NewMat suggested.
I think they thought you would be against a higher one, frankly.
Well, I think what we're saying is that often you can have the gate itself doesn't have to be 6 feet wide, because you can have panels on the other side that attach it to either the house or to the other part of the stockade. So usually a 6 feet wide gate is because you're trying to get equipment in the backyard. You need a wide opening. So that, I just thought it was unclear in the application what it is you're trying to achieve and why you pick those height and widths, because it's going to be visible from Dutcher. You're in a historic area. It's a great street, great house. I just think that that's pretty imposing. Now, I know you picked the 6 feet to separate you from your neighbor because you think it'll look symmetrical with the 6 foot on the other side. I'm just questioning the gate itself and what that's going to look like from Dutcher.
I mean, 6 feet high, I just want to interject as well. The reason we approved the Ryans at 6 feet was because of their access to Main Street, as well as the fact that they backed to 2 commercial properties where they were putting that stockade. So for them, it made sense because the commercial properties have had their garbages there, and I know the history with that fence. So, a 6 foot fence is a lot of fence in this historic district. We don't see it a lot.
So I think 6 feet visually from the front is also just a little bit more of an impact than I think you're going to want. And frankly, that I think Dutcher can handle. The 6 feet run that separates from your neighbor, by the time you frankly plant and look at the balance on each of the 2 sides, it probably won't be as overwhelming. I'm just concerned about, again, the gate and how wide it is and how high it is.
So what you're saying is it's in your opinion, 6 foot would be okay for between the 2 houses, but as you make the L and come towards the house, that it should be 3 foot?
Well, I think it should be. I just think we should pause and make sure that that's not, that looks appropriate, because again, it doesn't look like it's decorative in any way. I don't think a 6 foot wide fence it's going to look like it's for a driveway, which is not what you're intending. I assume it's really just going to be right? It's just for the children and you to walk back and forth between the 2. So something that's a little bit more in keeping with the size and scale of your house, I think is going to look more charming, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think it's going to take the
I think,
garbage.
Deb, one of the reasons though they do those a wider gate is because if you have to move things in or access any equipment, you can't get it into your backyard without removing your fence. So
that's fair. I mean, I'm sure that it must be.
I mean, that would be the only reason I would think they'd want a 6 foot.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I mean, frankly, the gate is there just for the sake of our children. But we cannot access our backyard any other way.
No, you should have a gate. I do agree with you. And I think the mere fact you're taking down this fence in the front of your house goes a huge way to making this look, fabulous. So you're improving your property undoubtedly. And I think the gate actually is charming. And it sounds like you really haven't focused on it as much as we are now. And that's just the reason why I'm saying, just take a few minutes. Is that what are you trying to achieve? And what's the purpose of the width of the gate that you're selecting?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that if we needed access to the back, as we're talking this over, and you're right, the gate was a proposal just to have, a closure to our backyard. But, the only time that this has come up is we had a tree removed, with your permission. And this is the only way to get back to the backyard. And so, luckily we had the chain link fence and they could just pull that back to get access to that tree. But this is the only way.
What about, I mean, it's a big enough area to be able to handle they wanted to do a 6 foot door. I think a 4 foot door would be plenty. And there's nothing that I know that you can't get in and out of a 4 foot door.
I mean, frankly, we are happy to do whatever, if you want us to do a 4 foot, 4 feet, that's totally fine with us. Again, our main priority is to get rid of the chain link fence.
What about a double gate?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The double.
Yeah, 3 foot wide and 4 foot high, 2 3 foot sections. So one could be, one could sort of be permanent, but if you needed to open it to access your backyard for any reason, I know it's hard to foresee, but it could be like a new boiler. It could be whatever, that you can't easily get it through a regular, like one single. So if you did a side by side, so that one would mostly be inoperable, but you would be able to make it operable when you wanted to. So are you getting what I'm saying? Like 2 3 foot sections that would meet in the middle at 4 feet high would be appropriate, probably.
Yep.
You probably have to change the design though. I think you had selected the one that has a rounded top. I think if you select a fence like that, I don't know if that's going to work. you may have to go back and look at that. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of those gates. I mean, you could ask him. He probably has two
Yeah.
that would meet in the middle that look appropriate. So, you know,
But do you agree, Gail, that maybe 6 feet for the gate is probably
Well-
too daunting for the size of this house?
yeah, but I think that that's a good way to accommodate it is, you know, just do a side by side. You'll use one gate basically, but the other one is operable if you need it.
Are you talking about height?
No, 4 feet in height, but three, you know, a double gate, you know,
18-footers?
3 and 3. So they have their 6-foot opening, but they can use just one side, you know, for most things. So,
Okay, folks, what do you think?
Can we approve this with just the height and they can pick
Yeah.
their later?
I'm going to make all kinds of documentation for the minutes, so the drawings will be reflected. The minutes will reflect what our decision is.
Yeah, I think I'd be comfortable if however you're going to phrase it, Rick, if we suggest that the gate not be 6 feet high. I mean, the only reason I'm hesitating is that if you put a topper on top of a fence, like some of those designs, they would be in keeping with the historic district. Some of them, not all of them. But if you're looking for more height because you're concerned that, you know, you can see in or into your backyard, then I would be a little bit, you know, it'd be more amenable to 6 feet. But I would bring the height down, and if the 2 gates work, great, or if it's 4 feet wide, great. But I think we can leave it flexible. I just don't know how you're going to phrase this, Rick, but I'm going to write it down, whatever you say.
Well, I think we have to really pick a gate, which none of them look conducive to a double
gate,
3
right.
foot. Is there any other?
Does that mean the
page?
side panels have to be the same height as well?
Do the what?
The side panels, the sides of the gate
Well,
have to be the same height.
once we figure out what gate we're going to use, we can go down that road. Yeah, that's the only thing.
there are no other gates as you go up and down.
No, I think this is all he gave me.
No.
Yep.
All right. You think they could have had a gate that just went straight across the top, right? And then you can put one of these toppers on it, but no.
I can't
I
imagine.
think there are half gates. You know, you see the arched gate, the second one from the left.
Yeah.
I think there are gates that would they're 4 feet wide. I mean, 6 feet wide, but they're going to divide right in the middle. So, and you have a good fencer. He has a really good reputation. I'm sure he has it.
All right. So my next question is the whole area from the main fence to the building 4 feet or 6 feet, and just the gates are 4 feet?
I think it's 10 feet.
No, the height.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the
sorry.
height.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of posts. I don't know how much room. I don't, you know, depending on what the width of the fence is. That's why I say this is really, it's hard to kind of make a determination without knowing the exact dimensions that we're dealing with.
Well, we know it's a 10-foot run.
Yeah.
And, you know, if there's only 2 feet on either side, if this is going to be a double 3.
So you probably want them to be the same. So, I mean, if you're doing 2 foot and 2 foot.
The problem is there's nothing to match the top of their standard gate, standard fence, which is frustrating. I mean, their fence is C346. Could you go back to that?
Right.
Right there. I mean,
Mhm.
what do you use?
Mhm. I don't know.
Maybe the scalloped one on the side. I don't know how far that scallop goes down, but you might be able, if you cut a section in the middle, it might just, sort of straddle the height of the gate to the height of the fence.
But I don't think
You
they
know what I
want to
mean?
make, I don't think they want to make the gates. I think they want to buy the gates.
No, I'm just saying if you bought one panel of this and you cut it down the middle, it drops down, so it's almost going to meet the gate, but on the edges, it's going to be the 6 foot that matches the stockade going down the side. It'll start at the same point where it turns the corner, and then it'll drop down and it'll get, we're talking from 6 foot to 4 foot. So you'll almost probably hit that in the middle. They'll be able to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not very helpful right now. I don't.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
You mean
and I think that's a
cut-
good idea.
That's the same stockade, except it has the scallop. So that scallop will come down to meet that gate. And
Yeah.
on the edges, it will meet the stockade. So I think it's probably a good answer.
No, I think that works. I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Ben. I'm not crazy.
You didn't explain it to me because
We're
I
just making it up as we go here, but I think it works. So
So you still haven't convinced me that this is going to work. We're using C346 stockade on the main fence. We now make a right hand or left hand turn and go towards the building. What are we doing then?
So right where, on the left corner, the left upper corner, that stockade is going to look just like the stockade going down the side. And then it's going to, it's a scallop. So then it's going to drop down and towards the gate.
What are we using for the gate?
Well, the gate, I think that Stephen King is going to have to tell them, but I'm sure he'll have a double gate. And you see the one that has the curved top, the reverse of the scallop. There should be a gate that will meet in the middle, that has that, the curve will meet in the middle. So you'll have a quarter curve and a quarter curve on each side. You know what I'm saying? It's a half circle divided down the middle. I would send you a picture if I could.
Rick, you may have to ask one of the architects on the call to dictate this one.
Show me one. We don't have one.
Is anybody on?
John and
John,
Claudia.
are you on?
No, I thought John and Claudia were.
Is there an option to do a 4-foot fence in between the properties? And then you don't have that weird, when you do the turn, it'll be the same height. Unless they're stuck on the 6 feet in between.
How high is the chain link that's existing?
4 foot.
Or, yeah.
Oh, it's 4 foot. All right. I think John Malone is on the call. He's on there.
Well, we can't ask him to jump on.
Well, he is there. He just texted. He said to give him a minute. You're getting free architectural services now.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Not from me, from
I
John.
didn't hear him say free.
Oh, but you're making it happen.
I guess it is in John's best interest to help because he's last.
I realized that. I realized that too, Rick, right after I said it. Of course he was on.
Mr. Malone.
Am I on, guys? Where am I?
Yes, John.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I put emergency
I can't
space.
see, I was just gonna put something up into the screen, but I can't turn myself on, sorry.
We have a question for you,
I
John.
have to promote you to a panelist, John. I didn't know you were trying to share your screen. I allowed you to talk.
So
Sorry.
John, we're sorry to bother you, but we had a quick question on the application before you. Can we ask you a question?
You're muted, John.
There we go.
There you go. So John, we're sorry to bother you, but can we ask you a quick question on the application before you?
Sure.
Can we show you the fence that's being proposed on South Dutcher?
Can we do, yeah,
Okay. So the proposed fence that's going to be on Dutcher to divide the two houses is a cedar stockade, which is being shown as C346.
right.
And the question that's before us is the 10-foot opening between the stockade and the front of the house and what type of gate to put there, both the height and the width. And the concern is if it's a 6-foot gate that goes across, it may be too high for this house on this block. So we suggested a 4-foot gate, but then we're left with the 4 feet on either side and how high it should be and what type of gate to select.
It's 2 feet on either side.
Sorry, 2 feet on either side.
Right,
So
so I
the
think I
gate-
would do something like this, guys, if you can see that.
That's-
Right, so you would end up with a double gate in the center.
Right.
Those 2 triangles point to the hinge points, right? So that the gates would hinge from those 2 posts. And then
We
you can
can't
just
see
use
it.
your stockade on the side.
Oh,
Like Gail was proposing, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Which-
but
Which of the gates though that are depicted, if you can scroll up a little, Sarah? So which
number
of the
30?
gates?
So I
Number
think in terms of the gate, I think Gail is right. I think you would just buy like they'd buy a flat gate and they'd modify the top of it, with a saw. I think, I'm pretty sure you could get this fabricated and it's not one of their standards. In the worst case, you could do something like this where there was no scallop on the top, and I just can't believe they don't have a flat top gate.
that was my quandary.
Yeah, and like the gate number 10, has anybody ever ordered that gate? 'Cause that is a stupid gate.
I would, if I was a neighbor, I'd need a Dramamine.
Yeah. Or you put the bottom on it and it's like Fudgy the Whale. I mean, that's like the funniest gate. But I think the structure behind the gate is going to be straight, right? It's not going to follow the top curve. So there's probably some version of this where the structure holding it together is flat and they just take a saw, cut the top off the thing.
Okay, so it's a flat top, a double flat top gate that is how ideally, how wide? 6 feet? 4
I
feet?
think I would do 48 as you turn the corner. I think you'd keep 6 where you guys were showing 6, and then where you turn the corner, I'd probably drop to 48 inches.
Okay.
Just because, I think that'll read better.
Okay.
You could do 6 feet if you wanted, but I think again, there's a mention of maybe putting a topper or something at that point, rather than go all the way up with a flat 6-foot fence there.
Okay, so I think I got it, Rick.
All right, well, send it to me.
Yep.
I'll need it for the morning
Yeah.
when I do my.
And I think for the applicants, so it sounds like the instincts are right, that if you find that they either can't modify or come up with a flat top, then 6 feet would be acceptable for the gate, but you've got to pick a topper because it's going to visually kind of reduce the impact of the height of that gate. And I think you'll be happy with that if you see it. But if they have a flat gate or can modify one of the other gates to make it a flat top, then stick at 4 feet and I think you'll be happy.
Okay.
All right. I guess at this point, go ahead. Anybody else?
Rick, there's somebody that's raising their hand for a question.
Okay.
Hi, sorry, it's Leola again, Rick. I just wanted to thank you guys for your thoughtful consideration of the gate situation with this, because there was my next door neighbor, there was a fence approved for them where a chain link and vegetation was. And I realized this is different because this one doesn't have vegetation, but in the past, birds could go through. It was really delightful with the vegetation, and the chain link was covered by the vegetation, so you didn't see it. But my biggest point about this is that the fence material was lovely, just like in these programs, nice wood fence, but it wasn't done nicely, and the gate is the same height as everything, so it looks like this, prison wall kind of thing. And so I appreciate your thoughtfulness with this family's request to, try to make sure that it looks attractive both for them and for people who walk by.
So you're agreeing to drop down to 4 feet for the.
It sounds right. I have so little expertise, but I have to tell you, as having a next door neighbor that got a wooden fence approved from what used to be a more open, airy situation, it's not straight. All these different. I don't know if they had to get something cut on the top to make it straight on top. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not a nicely done fence, even though the materials really would be quite lovely, but it didn't come together quite so nicely, and perhaps something like the shorter gate is a nicer solution. So thank you for your thoughtfulness on this.
I've seen it, Leola.
Thanks, Leola. All right, any more questions from the board? Okay, I will make a motion to approve as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being patient with us.
Okay,
Good
no
luck.
Okay, and last but not least, ARB 20-53 for Camden Court deck. Hit him at Malone.
Got it. Okay, this project is for the replacement of an existing deck on a house in Legend Hollow. The house is a stucco, simple stucco house with some kind of
John, are there any simple stucco houses there?
Yeah, it's just like it has some classical detail in the stucco, but it's relatively simple. The client's tastes are more modern. The interior renovation that we've done is more modern in terms of how it's approaching the finishes and stuff. On the outside of the house right now is a deck that's made of Trex, like an early Trex, a PVC lumber. It's all warped and, not really able to be cleaned. So our goal was to remove that existing deck and replace it with a deck that has better finishes and just a slightly more modern approach. The railing on the deck right now is all vinyl, and the balustrades are vinyl, like white vinyl. It's great. It's a great deck, sorry. But it needs to go. So the new deck that's shown here is in part of the footprint of the existing deck. There's a lower deck here that we're abandoning and just simplifying the deck. Let me just see. This is an elevation of the proposed deck. It's a cable rail, stainless steel cable rail, to maximize the view out of the family room and dining area.
What's the rest of the railing?
The thing below is a lattice.
No.
Basically.
The rest of the railing, you said it's stainless steel cable wire, but
it's cedar and mahogany.
Okay.
The decking is mahogany. I'll just run to the sections. That's the stair section. So this is what we're showing. It's basically a cedar post. The part that you touch on the top, the handrail, is mahogany. That'll be clear. The cedar will be painted white. The sub rail will be painted white. And then there'll be stainless steel rails. The decking will be clear cedar mahogany with a finish on it, but it'll be a clear semi-transparent stain on that. This there's also a sorry, where is it? Not here. There's AC units, condensers out here. So there's again a PVC fence around those. So we're going to replace that with a cedar fence that is painted white to hide the AC units.
Mhm.
And that's really the limit of it. The lattice below is a 1.5 by 1.5 cedar lattice that would be painted white. So basically the trim of the deck is all white. What you would see in this elevation is the top rail, the handrail in a clear. You'd see the mahogany edge of the decking as it came out to the side, and then you'd see a stainless steel rail, stainless steel cables.
Okay, steps mahogany, I assume?
Yeah.
Nothing as far as lighting or doors going out to the deck? Everything is staying the same?
No changes.
Okay. Anybody, questions?
What color stain, John? I'm really not allowed to ask that, but I'm asking anyway.
What we typically do with the mahogany is we put some color on it that takes the orange out, so it's a little bit gray. There's a few different ones that we'll probably sample on site, but it's meant to look like mahogany, but just taking a little of the orange out of it, make it a little hipper looking.
Okay. Anybody else? Questions? Okay, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Great.
Thanks for bearing with us there, John,
Thank you very much.
and your help with the previous application.
Thanks. No problem.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, next NMD is, I believe, the 26th of October. Yep, 26th of October at this point. And I know that's not a day that's going to get screwed up on us, so we'll go with that. At this point,
We took out the other meeting. We had one on the 6th, didn't we?
Yeah, but our first meeting of the month lately has been changed, and I'm going to discuss this with Larry and Ed. I'm not sure that going to one meeting a month is going to work for us, but at this point, the first meeting of the 14th, the 26th, 12th.
12.
Yeah, the 12th. That will be a review of the applications to that point. We can make comments, send them in to Sarah, and Sarah can send them to the applicants and look to see if we can circumvent some of the issues that will come up on the 26th. At this point, we will handle that meeting as such. Moving on to later in the year and the beginning of next year, we'll have a bigger conversation to discuss. I don't know how anybody feels, whether any of the other you guys feel that going to 2 day to 1 day is working.
I think it can be hard on the applicants and everybody involved at times. I mean, it's certainly nice in a way, only doing it once a month, but I just wanted to ask Rick if it would be appropriate. I know we're not allowed to discuss it at mid-month, like the 14th, but can we share those comments?
With whom?
Each other. Can we send it not just to Sarah? Can we send it to, the same way we send everything else?
Well, sunshine laws say that only two of us can be in a conversation at any given time. Otherwise, to have a third would present a quorum, and that would be, problematic. What I was thinking is that if you do have comments, if you send them to me the Sunday, the day before they're due, I can look and make sure that, two people didn't have the same comments, so Sarah doesn't have to, sift through all the comments and send them off that way. And then I could send them to Sarah on Monday and, consolidate it that way if you think that'll help.
I know. I was just concerned that sometimes there's important things, you just want to make sure you don't miss them, so if we share those, then at least we know.
The only thing we can, I mean, we can have an informal meeting on that Monday, but everybody has the right to listen in on the meeting. They don't necessarily have the right to come into the meeting, but,
Yeah.
I will add one thing, just from my experience on the Board of Ed, that we also obviously were governed by the Sunshine Law, but when we wanted to know before a meeting what the others were thinking, we were allowed, at least our lawyer told us, we were allowed to write down our comments that we were going to raise. We just couldn't talk about it. Like, so I couldn't comment on Gail's comments and Gail couldn't comment on yours, but
Right.
I could say to the group, these are my issues, and send it to the group, and they couldn't hit reply all. I don't know if that helps or makes sense, but that was the legal advice we got.
If the Board of Ed can do it, I'm sure, the same Sunshine Law.
I thought the issue was that we couldn't discuss it, but we could share it, so.
Yeah, I could share my comments, but nobody could hit reply all and nobody could have a conversation, but two people could. So Gail could call me and ask me about my comments, but she couldn't write it so that, and have a conversation with me and her going back and forth for all to see.
That's correct.
So I don't know if you want to, if that helps somebody with one meeting that we all share comments.
By all means, if you want to bounce something off any one of us, whether it be Ken or me or Deb or anybody, Michael, anybody, if you just scratching your head and say, does this make sense? And, bounce it off anybody. Any one person, at least, that's not a problem. I can be the clearinghouse for those types of issues and questions.
But I think Gail's saying you want to see what the other members are raising before the meeting, so you're clued into other issues that may not have occurred to you. Is that what you're saying, Gail?
That is what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, which is going to be tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, we were allowed to do that, like I said, as long as I could send my comments, but nobody could comment on them.
Right.
But if you want to ask Mary Ann if that's her
I'll
interpretation.
do that. I'll bounce it off Mary Ann and see what she says. All right.
I just get the sense there's not a lot of comments that are getting generated. Is that true, Rick?
Well, let's put it this way. If there are, they're being sent directly to Sarah.
I see.
I don't see them. So I don't know. If I have comments, I make them to Sarah directly. But beyond that,
You wouldn't know either.
I wouldn't.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Nope. All right, we will.
So our next meeting, just to be clear, is on October
26th, my twin's birthday.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
That's all right. They're 32 now, so it's not that big a deal. It's
Yeah.
more about the grandkids'
Exactly.
birthdays.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you in a
Thanks,
month.
everybody.
All right, night.
All
See
right,
you.
thank you.
Bye-bye.